star mode. I'm fly, yes, I'm high, yes. Every wanna get to this guy, yes. Go out tonight, I just might, yes. Style cleaner than yours, so don't buy, yes. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair.
Hello. Hey, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is my first time ever coming live. Oh my God. I'm getting ready for bed. Please forgive me.
I appreciate this.
Hi, SoDebNair.
How's it going?
It's going great. Look, I'm trying to get some, some light here.
Mm.
I cannot believe I'm backstage. I cannot believe I'm talking to you.
Why?
You are my adopt. I already adopt you. Okay?
You always say that. You always say that.
It's so great to talk to you and just hear your story and just letting you know that you are loved. And no matter what you've been through all the strongholds. You've been through all the trials and tribulations, all the rules and regulations. Those are what makes you come stronger.
Absolutely.
So I thank you for, just sharing your story because, it's a lot of men that's out here. I have how can I put it? My other adopted brother / hairstylist. Okay. I adopted him too. Mm-hmm. So, he's, had came into his truth a long time ago. He had his family was not, welcoming him. They was just trying to always go after him, wanted to fight him, and just didn't want to sell what who he was. Mm-hmm. But you guys have so much knowledge, and like I was told, knowledge is power, and just stay, live in your truth, stand tall. I told him, hold your head high, stick your chest out, and keep walking. Walk by faith and not by sight.
Yeah.
Because you're human too.
Yeah. It's always encouraging to hear that from someone else because although you feel like that, mm-hmm. When people don't actually acknowledge that, it's hard because it's like you feel like you're doing that, but it just feels alone, like you're alone sometimes, So having people actually say that out loud, it means a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to let you know I'm not going to hold you because somebody else is out there. But I'm glad that you came, and just told the whole truth. You didn't hold nothing back. And so what you cry? We cry all the time. It's okay to cry because listen, I'm a firm crybaby. Okay. I'll get you told in a minute, but I'm still gonna cry too, in the drop of a dime. So I just
listen. I don't mind crying. I don't mind crying, but I appreciate this. I appreciate you for even saying that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited now. I know how to get on. I think.
All right.
So take care. Have a good night.
All right, you too. I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
All right, man. I'm a little rough. It's between barbershop cuts, so.
Oh, you good?
But I do want to say I appreciate the fact that you being a young Black gay man, that you doing what you're supposed to do, and you have issues like everybody else. You show me that you just like the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? We all have issues. We all have traumas. We all have problems, But one thing I will say is that when it came to you talking about that, you, so to speak, your crying moment when you were saying about your trauma and everything, my heart kind of went out to you, so to speak, due to the fact that I think a lot of gay men go through that, but a lot of gay men are afraid because we're so conditioned to say we're fine. Yeah. Everything is okay. Yeah. That you better man up, you better do, what men do, men don't cry. But one thing I will say is that it is hard being a young black gay man on the
Yeah.
scene. I will say that, you know what I'm saying? And that's something just like being a black woman, we will never understand.
Right. Right.
Being a young black man, nobody will really understand unless you're a young black gay man, you know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
fact that you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to be open and to show your vulnerable side, I give kudos to that. I really, really do.
I appreciate that.
I really, really do. So,
Yeah. I
you know,
tell a lot I tell a lot of the black women that I know, I was like, it's so weird that we don't have the connection that we don't have because we go through a lot of the same things, you know what I'm saying? And it's why I think I connect with women so much is because I can literally tell you what I'm going through and you can relate. And like me and that girl Portia that's in the chat, like we talked for like 5 hours last night because we related so much, but a lot of times we don't always have that opportunity. And then sometimes, and I was telling her last night, so I think that, the whole DL thing kind of destroyed the relationship that we could have had with black women because it's frowned upon. It looks so bad all the time. But in reality, we have a lot of common.
I think what, in my opinion, just my opinion, I
Okay.
think a lot of people compare black gay men to black women.
Okay.
And what the issue is that we're not women. Even though a lot of black gay men will like to be women because we were raised by black, like me personally, I have a lot of women in my family who encouraged me, loved me, supported me. But a lot of people compare black gay men as gay women instead of looking at us as men who like men. It's that
Right.
simple. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like, I feel as gay black men, we not just stick together, but there should be an understanding and there should be a line drawn to show that we are men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We are men. That's biological fact. But at the end of the day, we might have the emotions of a woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's okay for us to feel, to have our heart on our sleeves, to, feel how we feel about certain situations. But when it came to, I heard you saying something about your father and how, he gave you a hug of love and acceptance and appreciation. And that's honorable. You know what I'm saying? I thank God that I had a stepfather who actually loved me. And we had that conversation of, what is it that you like? What is it that you feel? What is it that you want to experience out of life that when you 75 or 80, you can look back on your deathbed and say, yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I did it in confidence. I did it in love. I did it in respect. I did it in, just straight agility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I feel like the DL thing kind of messed it up for gay guys, period. Like I feel like because a lot of women feel like we were out to get them because of that. Like had we been able to transition into, the Obama situation where they just started accepting us and it wasn't have to be like a secretive thing, because even me and Portia talked about last night, it was like, well, what about bisexual men? If they have sex with the men, they're automatically just gay men. They're not bisexual. But then a woman can turn around and be bisexual and she's still
and
just
it's
bisexual.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but I feel like that DL era and that whole thing that what's that guy's name who wrote that book? The DL, what's the guy's name? I can't think of his name, but he wrote that book about the DL guys. Like, it just kind of put a bad stigma on gay men, period, because it's like they were kind of like secretly doing things behind women's backs, so now they are side eyeing everybody. But in reality, us that choose to walk in this, that's not our story. You know what I mean? So I just wish that the separation could be there, like where it's just like, you know, if this is an out gay guy, this is who he is, and he's able to operate in that. Let that happen. Now, if there's DL guys out there, hold that to them. Let us do what we're doing. Just like, because to me, all the gay guys that I know, when it comes to women, we will fight you over them. Like, all the gay guys that I know will fight you over a black woman, period. Because we're not down for that. But then they also have bad experiences with women because of this DL situation. So it's like, you know, I just wish that we could separate that.
You're actually right about that, because a lot of I don't really want to go into that stigma of how women see black gay men, but I have had a lot of issues with black women due to the fact that I'm a young black gay man. You know, I'm pretty much doing for myself. I'm doing okay. You know, I'm talking about in my work environment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking in my personal life. I'm talking about my work environment. In my work environment, they see me as a young, and I'm the only black man in an all-white staff. So in an all-white staff, they see me as a black man. You know what I'm saying? A black man. They don't see me as a black. They see me as a black man. Like, he can do it. You know, that's how they see me. But the only thing I can say to you, the only thing I think I wanted to really say to you was that you don't have a choice but to be strong.
Yeah.
You really don't. Yeah. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's not only that we are black men.
Yeah.
We black gay men.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother whammy top on top of another whammy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now we don't just have to get the acceptance from the gay community. We got to get it worldwide, like the white community has already done. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, in the black community, we call faggots, sissies, punks, wimps. That is what we are called by certain people. But one thing I will say is this. I remember, you don't mind, do you? When I was younger, I got blackballed by my family because I came out when I was 16. Okay. And it wasn't because I just need to say something. It was because I, as a human being, I'm not gonna walk around with this shit on my chest my whole life. What do I owe this to anybody to be depressed? Why do I owe this to anybody to be sad and, you know, hurt and rejected? That's not the will of God. The will of God is to be happy. Yeah. So my whole goal in life was, what would it take for me to be happy? Would it take the happiness of everybody else? Or would it just take me to piss a lot of people off for me to live my life the way I wanted to live? And I will say that once I came out when I was 16 to my parents, my mom, because she didn't know how to deal with the situation at hand, she told the rest of my family, which turned my family kind of against me. But I will say, and that's why I said in your comments, just give it some time. 10 years later, about 12, 13 years later, everyone who turned against me, they really got a chance to see me and they got a chance to experience me. You know what I'm saying? They saw that what I do in my bedroom, first off, is none of your business.
Right.
That's between me and the guy, whoever I'm laying with. What matters is what I do outside as an actual human being.
Right.
If I'm loving, if I'm respectful, if I'm accommodating, if I'm, you know, just a regular, degular human being. You know what I'm saying? And people are not looking for regular human beings anymore. They looking for, are you fucking girls or are you fucking men?
Yeah.
Because if you fucking girls, go ahead, because you got some on your mind.
Well, first, how old are you?
I'm 34.
34. Okay. So I guess for me, because I will be 38 this year.
Okay.
I did come from a space where it just wasn't something that you talked about. And my mother was a pastor. I grew up in church and all that stuff. So there was a lot on me at that time. But I struggled with what I wanted, but I also knew what I wanted, right? And so I did date like 3 girls, and the last girlfriend that I had, we dated for like 3 years. And I think because I never seen her private parts of the last day that we had sexual intercourse, I was good with it, right? So after that, I was like, this is just not for me. You know, I tried it, and I think I did that because I wanted to please my mom, basically. That's what it was. It was my mom. And I'd be afraid to say that because my mom is like the world to me. And I wanted to please my mom, but I knew on the inside that that's just not what I wanted. And so when I got into a relationship with my ex, I realized the capacity of love I have from I never had with any girl that I ever had dated. The love that I was like ready to like throw it all away, you know what I'm saying, for him, you know what I mean? And so I knew I could never go back to another girl with this because I didn't have that love didn't come off of me like that. Now, if you're my friend or you're my family member, that's a girl, oh my God, I'm gonna give you more than that. But as far as it comes to us being intimate and us having a loving relationship and building a life, I just didn't have that, you know. But it also helped me build a different type of respect for women.
There you go. There you go.
I explained it like it's almost like I have a doll that I put up on a shelf that's in a box, and it's like an action figure to a straight man like that collects action figures. I value them like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I respect them in that type of way where they need to be protected and where I don't want nothing bad happen to them. I want to make sure that they are they feel the way that they look to me. So when people see me on the internet saying I'm praising Ples or I'm praising Marcella or I'm praising Princess or I'm praising people online, it's because that's the type of respect that I do have for Black women, period. You know what I'm saying? And so it gets to a point where people are like, well, is he overdoing it? No, because my mother has 6 sisters. I only have a sister. So this is what I know. Every day in my life was Women's Day. So that's where I come from as a Black man before I'm a gay or a Black man, as a man, period, or as a spirit or as a person. That's where I come from. So I learned in life that you celebrate women, period. And that's where all that stuff comes from. So when it comes back down to it, all of my best friends in the world were girls. One of my best friends just came to visit me from on Easter. She brought her mother, she brought her husband and her kids, and they all hung on me for the whole Easter holiday. That's the type of relationship that I have with them. I don't know how to do nothing else, you know? So
I think were you finished? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was.
So when it comes, this is my thing. I want Black women to realize this. We love y'all.
Yeah.
We really do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My mom is the strongest woman that you'll ever meet. You know what I'm saying? To me, she's my queen. You know what I'm saying? She supported me and loved me. So when I see other Black women, like you said, I automatically get that grasp of I need to protect them. I need to keep them safe. Mm-hmm. I want to hold on to them. I need to continue to learn from them as a 34-year-old man. I'm only 34. Mm-hmm. I don't know shit. I know my trade, but I'm just a regular Black man. You know what I'm saying? A regular Black gay man. But when it comes to Black women, I really want Black women to understand that us being gay is not a dig to you.
Yeah.
It's strictly, this is something that we as men cannot fight. And I think the fight alone is what kills a lot of DL gay black men.
Yeah.
Because it's not cancer in retrospect, but it's cancerous. You know what I'm saying? It can start as something small, then it can grow, and it can literally kill you.
Yeah.
I've seen black gay men die in their 70s who was married for 50 years, had kids that's in their 40s and 30s, but they never got a chance to fulfill their own selfish desires. They selfish desires. You have the right as a human being to be selfish.
But also off the strength of black women. That's the thing, you know. They did that so that black women don't get hurt. Because I'm already in a relationship with this woman. I have kids by this woman. You know, I want her to be good. So they do that. And I don't think people understand that that is a protective mechanism of a gay black man. Like, I feel like we are their biggest cheerleaders, but we're also not able to express that because it makes you look gay. It makes you look like he's so sensitive. There's so many different options and things that it just it takes us out of the element of who we really intricately are, that we don't get an opportunity to do it. But if you actually give us the opportunity to express this, then you would understand that, listen, I'm gonna be out in these streets with you. I'm out in the streets out here doing the same shit that you're doing, and I got your back.
Yes, we fight for you. We not against you.
Yeah.
Most 90% of gay men was surrounded by black women. I'm saying 90% of black men were surrounded around black women. That's where we get our mechanism from. That's where we get our thought process from. That's how we can recognize niggas when they come through the door, because listening to our aunts, our moms, our cousins saying, that nigga ain't shit. This is why this nigga ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a homage.
Yeah,
that we can respect you. It don't have nothing to do with, you know, and I get it. I get, for example, I've been so disrespected by so many black women. And it's not because they just black women. It's because some people just really don't understand. They don't understand the whole concept of being gay. You cannot blame somebody for something they never been really educated in.
But on the flip side, you also have to understand that you can't blame them for not being educated on this period too, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all. Not at all.
For me, like, you know, growing up, all my homegirls, they was like, they knew I was gay. They never brought it to me. They never wanted to. They was like, whenever you ready to come out, we'll talk about it then.
Be ready.
So when I did come out, they was like, well, I mean, I kind of already knew. I'm like, well, girl, why you ain't tell me? But it was like, you know, but it was like, you know, it was that part of coming out that made me feel comfortable, because it's like, I got a support system behind me, right? So, and then I had my guy friends, and they're like, well, why you ain't tell me? Because now people looking at me like I'm gay. I'm like, well, why?
I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be my next point. When it came to my stepfather, my stepfather knew I was gay when I was a kid. And there were remarks that he made throughout my childhood that let me know that he knew I was gay. But when I was 19, we had a conversation. I will never forget. I was sitting on the front seat of my car. He was on my back seat, and he said, "I'm gonna sit on the back seat and I'm gonna ride like I'm being chauffeured around the city." He told me, he said, "I understand you going through something, and you might not like females like I do." He said, "But if you, in your head and in your heart, don't love females the way that you're supposed to, do not put yourself in a position that you will hurt that girl." She don't deserve that. Women don't, and that's has always been my point. That's why me as a gay man, I have never, and it's not because females always have came to me, but I've always been afraid to approach females because black females are very critical. You know what I'm saying? And I'm definitely not gonna date white people. I mean, it's nothing personal towards white people, but I just don't do the swerve. I love my heritage. I love my people, but it always came off as my father always told me that love who you love. It's okay.
But everybody doesn't have that experience, right?
But it's not about what everybody, I mean, it's about you. Because at that point, he taught me that it's about what I want. It's not about what everybody else wants. Everybody
but he taught you that, you know what I'm saying? So you had that. A lot of us didn't have that. So it was really like I'm teaching myself this.
So it was taught in a way. It wasn't a nice way to be taught. But it was the way that I knew my father that he was teaching me. Because it was bullshit in between that he made me do. But
I never heard that at all. It was because I'm gonna tell you this. My mom caught me on, I think it was BGC back at that time, and she actually didn't catch me. I think I had, like, you know, at that time we'd have the incognito, the private one where you can go on there. You had to just go on the regular URL and type everything in. So she went to search the thing, and she seen that there was BGC. She clicked on it. There was gay people on there. She asked me. She said, "Are you gay?" And I said, at the time, I did not know. You know, so I answered correctly. I don't know. You know, I don't know what I am. All I know is that I'm here. Like I'm present. I haven't had sex with a man or woman. I have attraction to both right now because I know I'm supposed to have one with the other one, but my feelings are saying something else. So I dealt with that. But that was a lot of torture for me in my life too, because I knew what I really liked, but I also knew what I was supposed to be doing. So I did what I was supposed to be doing versus what I really wanted. So what she told me was this. She said, okay, well, if you do, and I hope she's not here because she hates when I say this because she doesn't remember it, but I know she said it to me. She said that if you are, you got to go. So I'm like, well, I don't know. So I can't give you an answer. We left it at that, and that's what it was. After that, I think I kind of just shied away from even looking at anything at that time because I, one, didn't want to lose my mother because, again, I'm her biggest fan. She's my biggest fan. Like, we just fanning on each other. Two, I just didn't know. You know, I just knew what my feelings were, and I knew that it wasn't because of me being sexually molested because before that happened, I knew how I felt about guys before that. And I kind of hate the fact that people feel like because you were molested, oh, that's why you're gay. I knew I had those feelings before that. So it wasn't that, but I also didn't know what sex was. I just knew that, you know, I felt more emotional and more feelings towards boys than I did towards girls. Like I'm like, oh, this my girl, this my friend. But I love this guy. Like, you know, he's like,
he's fine as a motherfucker. He looks good as hell.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but I didn't know where to jump.
Listen, before you do, go ahead. I'm gonna go off for just 1 second because I gotta use the bathroom. So go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. When I can't see your name because Princess messages up. But when you were speaking about not dealing with women, if you know that that's not the lane that you want to be in. A lot of people don't know what lane they want to choose when they come to. And I think SoDebNair said it, when he was speaking. But I'm speaking from a personal experience, and it's something that I battled with, and he and I talked about it. I battled with for a very long time, but I'm so comfortable with who I am right now. It don't matter, happily married, and was blessed enough to marry someone who understood where I stood in my love. And actually over the years I've come to realize, not over the years, me and SoDebNair talking last night, and I've thought about it before, but I've come to realize that
I'm not even bisexual. I'm more pansexual because I just love people. And if you give me a good vibe and a good energy, I can love you. And I think that my husband, like I can have that conversation with my husband and he's okay with it. But I wanted to make a couple of points that I've already made with Debonair when we were talking actually earlier this morning. I'm a mother of two. I have a son and a daughter. And it baffles me the way that some parents, you don't have to support what your child is doing, but you do have to respect the choice that they make, you know.
Say
And
that
I,
shit. Say that
I,
shit.
okay, let me say it one more time for the people in the back. Because I don't know
Say
how to do
that
this
shit.
camera. You don't have to agree with what your child chooses, but you do have to respect
Yeah.
the decisions that they
Respect
make.
that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this: I remember being pregnant with both of my children, um, and I know a lot of women who've been pregnant as well. And most parents, when they first find out that there is a sign of life inside of the woman, the only thing, when people say, "What are you having?" The one response you get, "I don't know, but as long as it's healthy with 10 fingers and 10 toes." You never talked about his sexuality. You never talked about who they would love when they grow
Nope.
up. So
Nope.
my thing is being gay, being lesbian, being straight, or being celibate, or even selling a bit. You understand me?
That's
It
right.
doesn't alter the healthy child that you gave birth to. So how is it that them telling you a preference when, let's be clear, heterosexual parents don't open up to their kids about what's going on in their
Don't
bedroom.
don't
So
you
when
say
your
that shit.
child and
Don't you say that
heterosexual
shit.
children
Don't,
don't open up to their parents about what's going on in their bedroom. But the moment a
don't you
child
say it.
decides to be different from the norm, they want to condemn them about something that they don't even really understand.
Man,
And
right.
I'm gonna say this lastly, and I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave and let you guys. Cause
You stay on.
y'all had okay. I stay on. I feel, but I'm gonna let someone else speak. I'm not. I'm young. When I was younger, my mama had us big in the church. I mean, children's choir, youth day, like some of the greatest times. It was never the preaching in the church that I loved. It was always the music because I love music.
Mhm.
However, I drifted away from people in the church and I became a lot more spiritual. Because it seems that those people that read that book, the Bible, and don't move off of the Spirit, the Lord, you know, they tend to pass judgment. And I know that book that they carry said, "Thou shalt not judge." So when you have an opinion about who somebody's sleeping with, you're passing judgment on them, whether you want to be honest with yourself and say that or not. So just all of those things that a parent knows, I don't understand how they are able to treat their children the way that they do, some of them. And just to, my mom never knew about me being bisexual when I was younger, and I was one of those people that, and I told Jeff and Eric, and I'm open, I'm open about it. But when I was younger and I would see people, I was one of those people who would get an attitude about what they saw because they were seeing something that they really liked. So when people would speak about those kinds of people, I could identify with them. So I knew for a fact that they were, alive and well. Um, and standing in my truth, I feel better than I ever felt. However, um, the fear for me as a woman to stand in my truth is only a portion. I can't get this camera right. It's only a portion of the fear that men feel when they have to stand in their truth. Because for me to say I'm bisexual, I'm either gonna get a I don't care or can we have a threesome? And the answer is no. So the society doesn't give to women the same thing that they give to men. But Deb, I just told him, how we are realized today. I do the frying pan. I'm paying, it's not, I'm not, because before, thinking I was bisexual, loving people, and I just found I love people, I'm okay with that. So if people care more about people just loving people, no matter who they are or what they, Thank
Portia,
you
they're
so
saying
much,
your audio is going in and out.
Oh no. Okay, well let me just see. Hold on. Let me disconnect the headphones, honey.
I think one of the most
Okay.
important things is, and I think this is important to say, is like no one's trying to convert people into believing what you believe.
Mm.
Your personal belief, your belief is. But on the flip side, like other people try to force you into believe what they believe. My thing is this, I believe in God. I feel like my main thing was I needed a relationship with God. The last time that I went to church, the pastor preached a message about church being a hospital. And the message that I got was not what everybody else got. And honestly, I was looking for a way to not have to be there every Sunday for 5 hours. So when he gave this message, I said, God, you have spoken to me and I have found my way out. And so I said, I asked the pastor, I said, can we have a meeting at the church? He said, yes. I said, so Bishop, you preached the message today. You said that the church is like a hospital. I'm not sick every week. I don't feel like I need to be here every week and being around sick people if I'm not sick every week. How do you feel about this? And he said, is that what you got out of my message? I said, yes. I said, I've been in church my entire life. At this point, I do want a break. And I feel like I've gotten what I needed to get from God at this point. My thing is now I need to go give this out to other people. And he said, well, if that's what you got from God, I can't challenge that. And so literally since then, that's what I've been doing. It's just like, I don't feel like you have to be at church every week to get from God. I listen to me, worship is more than anything for me because me listening to a message that may not be for me that week is not doing nothing for me. Worship is so much more intimate, and which is why music does a lot for me. Because if it's a worship song that is not resonating with me, I can turn it off. But if it's something that's resonating with me, then I can actually receive God from that. Sometimes it may not be something that I even know that I need from God, which is why some secular music does this for me. It's like, with this Faith Evans thing, like who would ever think someone's gonna go on the internet and say Faith Evans is I'm getting God from Faith Evans? No one's gonna say that. But at the end of the day, that's why a lot of my life has been the way that it has been because of Faith Evans. People are gonna be mad about it, but Beyonce has been a lot of that too, because a lot of those things came from fighting temptations. When she said, feels like I'm always falling short because I ain't worthy, because I ain't good enough, but he still loves me. That took me for a whole mother effing loop because I'm like, wait a minute now. Why is this happening right now? But the thing is that that's a pattern in church is that we always feel like we're not worthy. They actually say that in church, we're not worthy, but we are worthy of God's love. You know what I'm saying? And we are very worthy of God's love because he made us, he lives inside of us. And that is a slave mentality to me. Now, I don't walk around and enforcing that on people, but for me mentally, I would never walk around saying I'm not worthy because I am worthy of God's love all day, every day, because he lives inside of me. There are so many people that I have helped from my story. There are so many people that I have done things for. There are so many people that have done things for me that go to church, but they are worthy. So I feel like that's a slave mentality. But I would never knock a person who goes to church because at this point, maybe you are a baby in Christ or you're a baby in God, like, and you need to build that foundation. There's nothing wrong with that. So I can't knock that. But my thing is this: at some point, you need to grow to be an adult and walk on the earth, because that's if the story of Jesus, if you believe in the story of Jesus, that's what he did. He did not go to church. He walked around, he spread the love of Jesus, of God.
To me, the thing is, once you
Can I
become
say
spiritual
something?
enough
Go ahead,
to
sis.
provide what your experiences were with other people, and that's why I told you to listen to the song Testimony, because when you were crying, there's a line on the song where he says, so when you see me cry, it's just a sign that I'm alive. I've got some scars, but I'm still alive. In spite of calamity, he still has a plan for me, and it's
Thank you,
working for
sis.
my good, and it's building
Thank
my
you.
testimony. And
Thank you.
I've quoted a couple of lines from songs to you when we've just been on the phone.
Yeah.
Because like I told you, I didn't learn from the church.
And I did go to church, and I'm not saying they didn't teach it or they wasn't telling it, but I didn't receive it. You know, the hallelujah was the highest praise. CC Winans taught me that. Like, I think, yeah, CC is the woman because she got a song, hallelujah is the highest praise. And she say it so many
You say
times,
that.
you ain't gonna
Hold
forget
on,
it.
wait. Let me address this. Let me address this real quick.
Okay.
Addie says slave mentality to him or her, because I don't know if that's a guy or girl. Is trying to love a guy who doesn't accept you and who was created by your slave masters. Christianity was forced to our people. Explore your spirituality options, folks. So at the beginning, so one thing that you guys will learn, because I've said this millions of times, my favorite show is Girlfriends, right? Girlfriends drop some very spiritual notes in that show. Because Jones said that it doesn't really matter because all these religions lead back to God.
Lead to
We're
the
right.
same God. Lead to
They
the
lead
same
back to the same.
God.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the name that you give him. It leads back to God. So
Yeah.
for me, my mentality is not what people have forced upon me. What I do know is that there's a God. And if it was Jesus, whether it was that the thing with the beak, I don't know what it was. I think it's the Muslim. People believe all kinds of things. They all have a lot. There's a lot of religions that have the same story of Jesus Christ, but they all lead you back to the same person or the same God, which is God. So for me in my life, like I can't go around judging people about how they believe, because at the end of the day, we all are being led back to the same God. Period. Now, people who are atheists, they go back to the devil. I don't know. I don't know how to speak on that because that's not my experience. But what I
And
do
that's
know is
their right. That's their right. They
yeah.
have that right.
And the Bible tells you not to judge people. And it says if you in the house of a person that does this, you are in their house. So you have to receive and respect that. So that's what I do. So when people talk to me about people that I hang around on the YouTube, I'm not going to give out a name because I'm not going to do that. But when I do that, I have respect for that lady because that's how she believes. My job is not to convince her that this is what it is and this is how it goes. My job is to be an example of God.
Yes. And the problem with the world for me, Deb, is, when me and you talked earlier and we talked about things, my concern with people who have an expression of certain things is what have they been through? And I know exactly what you're speaking of, and we don't know what she went through that got her there. And I want to
y'all don't know, but I do, and that's why I have a different perspective of her.
But I'm saying, like, for people who don't know, that's why you shouldn't judge from afar, because when you do find out, you'll be just like you are, like, okay, now I get it.
There you go.
You say something. I want to touch on the comment that it's gone. She said that being a slave is a mentality, trying to believe in a God that doesn't love you or something. I can't quote the message specifically, but I honestly believe that the message that was put there is exactly what the people who are in church, the Bible told us, want you to believe, that you are trying to love a God who doesn't accept you. And it's not God that doesn't accept you. It is these humans on earth who don't know him, don't know you, and don't know the strifes and the struggle. How do you know?
But the thing is this. So when the guy had the conversation with me after I came out to my mom, and he was like, well, we all have our struggles. What if your struggle is that you just don't believe in God? Like you say you believe in him. What if that's the truth? What is that the struggle? Because the if you believe in what he's saying, the Bible says that you can do all things through Christ Jesus, right? Okay. Well, that means I can still be gay through Christ Jesus. I can still go out and murder people through all things I can do that, right? But let's take it down for a second, and let's say this. Let's say that because God lives inside of me, I'm able to do all things through him, right? And again, for me, I don't denounce anything because I don't know. None of us know. We know what we were taught, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, a lot of it is very scary because our original religion as Black people, we don't know what that was because we were brought over to a place where white folks told us what we were supposed to believe. And what was taught to us was we were supposed to be slaves and to bow down to them. Women
we
were
had
supposed
no
to
choice but to do that. Yeah.
women were supposed to shut up and not talk. And there was so many things that it was taught that were bad, but when it became comfortable or it fit someone else, then it was okay. But in reality, to me, what I get from the Bible was that because it says that Jesus came to destroy all of that and to love thy neighbor as I love thyself. So for me, the message is for unconditional love, right? So and I said this on another thing that I did, I said, to me, I feel like if we actually grasp the concept of unconditional love, he probably would come back and just say, we're done. But we
Unconditional
can't,
love is just
but we can't,
genuine compassion.
but we can't do that because we don't like it because we too dark skinned or we too light skinned. Your hair so bad. You gay, you straight, you lesbian, you this, you that. There's so many divisions in just black people by themselves. Then you white, or you are a redneck, or you are an ally, or you are LGBT white person who hangs with. Like there's so much division in the human race. When animals go out and they eat each other, they kill each other, and they go about their damn business, right? And they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. I mean, they live to kill and they die, and then they turn into the grass and then somebody else eat that shit. The thing is, as human, because we were made after him, why is it so hard to grasp this concept?
Because a lot of people not made after him.
Because a lot
And
to me, because a lot of people aren't willing.
Can I say something? May I? You know, I sat back and I listened, and sis, I really appreciate your input because you really stirring up. I hate that I kind of signed on with you tonight because you're going into a place that that I didn't really want to go to on YouTube, but I used to be a singles pastor. I taught nothing but singles. In my church, I dealt with all the single folks. I dealt with all of their issues. We had meetings every Tuesday. It was me and my assistant was 50. I was only like 25 at the time. You know what I'm saying? So my pastor put me in a place that he knew that he can trust me to give advice. When it comes to God, period, sex and sexual orientation needs to not be involved. God is not a God.
You got to stop hitting your table like that because it's causing.
I'm sorry. God is not a God of
confusion
and of sex. He's one of all. And me being a gay man, one thing, and I'm sorry I hit my table because I'm very passionate about stuff like this, and I love to hear the camaraderie between people and their opinions and healthy, safe conversation. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to God, to me, and it's just my opinion, I'm just a nobody. I'm just a, 12-hour shift dialysis technician. I ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? But I know enough to know that I've learned when it comes to God, it's not about the building or the church you go to. It's about what you do when you leave that church.
It's about the relationship you create with
Are you steadfast in that relationship when you leave?
Yeah.
Are you a shepherd when you leave? Are you a man of God when you walk out that door? Or are you just a regular nigga who come in here and thank you, Jesus, and go right back out there and roll you up your blunt? What are you? Who are you?
Let me read this. It says, we are worthy of his love, and everything has a different level in their level or relationship with him. Yes, he lives in us. I think a lot of artists reach the ones that the church couldn't. Absolutely. I believe in that. Princess says, correction, judge not, least ye judge with the same measure of judgment. Addie says, my mom and grandmom passed Christianity down to me from the great grandparents who learned it from their slave masters. I want no parts of anything that I'm not sure of. And then we have God, gracefully blessed, that God, the Spirit, communicates with each of us in his own way
Yes, he do.
personally. Absolutely.
Yes,
I
he
grew
do.
more spiritually when I left the brick. Hold on. The Brick and Mortar Bow Out by John P. Key is one of my favorite songs. Let me tell you something before you even finish. When I left, it was the best thing that I ever did. Because the people who live inside, even when me and my ex had the church, I never wanted to be inside of that church. I wanted to be outside. I wanted to help people. I wanted to do community service. I wanted to be around people who needed to experience what God's love felt like.
Yeah.
So that I definitely agree with, because it's God never used the super Christians.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't use the super Christians.
Because the super Christians ain't got no testimony for the people who's out there. That's
They ain't got nothing for us to go by. They ain't got shit for us to go by.
Yeah.
You need the center to bring more people in.
And because most of them were lying.
Yeah. To themselves first.
Yeah. And to him.
And to, yeah.
So you gotta understand the fact that when you are sitting in a space with God who knows who you are, and then he put inside of you who you know who you are, and y'all have that connection, and I keep on saying plugging into the creator. How do you mess with somebody like that? Because for me, like I said, and my chat been good today, because I said, don't come here with no bullshit. Have you seen it today?
You said that.
Because God blocked it.
Yeah. And he wouldn't let it be so.
And guess what? And guess what? And if God didn't block it, he gave me 10 fingers to push the block button. So that's what I'm saying. That's how I'm trying to say, like, everything that we have been through, it's stuff that God has put us through to protect us and him.
Yep.
All this stuff that I was talking about today and the things that I've been through in my life, it did not come from me sitting inside of a church.
Yeah.
It came from the people that God blessed with talents to do things, to give things to.
Mm-hmm.
It came from that and the trials that came before you that he got you over.
Princess did a live yesterday with these girls who have been through abuse. This one girl, she was afraid, like she never talked about it. When that girl started talking about the things that she went through, when I tell you her whole world opened up on her live yesterday, but the enemy tries to keep it in and like make you feel like it has to stay inside of you. That girl is more free today than she was yesterday.
Yeah.
Without the church.
And that's real.
You
Without
know,
the church.
when I finally did decide to go and get mental help, and I'm going to telling them I got ADD because I can't focus on shit, because I still can't.
I can't either.
But the lady, they because you go into a mental health facility, they're going to do a full psych eval. Mm-hmm. And in doing the full psych eval, they had to go through my past. And one of the parts of the psych eval is where they determine whether your story has been embellished or whether what you've given them is the authentic truth. And y'all, when that woman said, and we determined from what you gave that your story was the authentic truth, it was almost like a not guilty verdict or non-guilty verdict in some major case, because there were things that I went through that I would bring up to people and they would act like I'm crazy. And I'm like, I know, like, nah, I know you was there.
You ain't crazy.
Going through and getting that validation and that it meant something to me, and it was a big part of my healing because I knew I wasn't crazy.
But what Michelle said is true. The pandemic was good because it gave me time to get closer to God without having to get dressed, drive an hour to sit in a building to watch a show. Listen, I used to always call it the circus, because especially in the Pentecostal church, if y'all know the Pentecostal church that's on this channel, forgive me, because this is what it looked like to me. It was a circus. Y'all want to run around a church, but y'all go outside of this church and be nasty to people.
Yeah.
Y'all want to go around, y'all want to shout and dance and put on a whole damn show, but then when you walk outside here, you nasty to people. Y'all want to come in here, y'all want to worship and all this stuff, but you nasty to people when you leave here. That's not what God is about.
It ain't God. That's not God.
Some people seem to try to validate themselves with individual situations. Like, I may have not, came out and spoke good to that person, but I've done this and I've done that. And my theory is, if you're not a good person, you can't be a good mom. If you're not a good person, you can't be a good wife. So when I did go to
You
therapy
can't be a
and
good
asked me what
friend.
I want, I told her I want to be a better me, because until
Yeah.
I'm a better me, I can't be a better none of those things that I have been, that I have chosen to be in my life, a mother and a wife, so I don't care how much word you get from the person in that pulpit who was just another human that God has touched. If you're not living by it or having a compassionate heart for people, you can throw all that he gave you away, because it was for
Right.
nothing. It was for nothing.
Right.
May I say something
Go ahead.
regarding to you? You're right. You're absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, me personally, how can a guy who have no standards, no, God, receives everything, he accepts everything. He's the same God that will condemn you for stealing, theft, murder, gay, all that type of stuff. The God that I serve, and I don't care what nobody says. I know personally, as a 34-year-old black man, I had an experience with God that I know it was nobody but God who had who had my back.
Yeah.
I know it was him. I knew it was him who taught me this is what you're supposed to do. And you might mess up, but I'm gonna put you through it again. And you better get it right this time.
I got something even better. Y'all remember when we was young and our parents used to be like, don't do nothing because God see everything. Well, you don't think he saw I was gay? Boy, I told you. So he knew who I was, but I told you who I was.
Before you even knew.
Wait. They say he knew you before you knew who you was.
Come on
Hey,
now.
So if he knew that,
Written.
if he knew that, then like what's going on
Then
here?
why
Like,
you
what's the
why you
problem?
mad about something he already knew?
But then think
But I'm gonna
about
tell
it.
you, what the dude told me.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say what the dude told me. He said that God give us all our own struggles. I said there's no way possible that if God is love, that in my heart, when I love other people, that my heart is going to be my challenge. That's not possible.
God would never be a challenge to me because God is
No. He said that God gives us all our struggles, and
okay.
And I said to him, I said, "There's no way if God is love and love comes from my heart, that who I love is going to be my struggle, because that means God's my struggle, right?
That's true.
There's no way.
He understands the struggle that you're going through at the moment. He knows what you're. How you doing, sweetheart? He understands what you're going through at that time.
Right.
And that's what you said earlier was like everybody didn't go through what I went through because I had a step parent and my mom was there. Everybody didn't go through that, but at the same time, my struggle was still my struggle.
Absolutely.
I still had to go through my struggle to get to where I can get to the point that I can love God wholeheartedly. It's not about fucking when it comes to God. When it comes to God, it comes to reverence, it comes to love, it comes to respect, it comes to adoration. It comes to He is the one who put us on this planet to do what we needed to do. And I'm not trying to be a type of person who forget all of that. My personal experience with God is that God told me as a gay man, you do right by me, I'm gonna do right by you.
Right by you.
If you love me, I'm gonna love you. It ain't nobody else or nothing else.
But see how thankful that we were on that? That's because that's the message that he keeps on giving all of us. And that's the thing. People don't understand that. It's like people try to put their own insecurities off on gay people because they don't understand it. But guess what? They did that to black people. White people did it to black people. And I was telling Portia this last night. I have a friend who's straight, and I want to do a show with him talking this called Asking My Straight Friend Questions. because I want to learn the mentality of how they feel about things. But he's also a person who's understandable, and he tries to learn so that he's not ignorant about what we go through. And I think that it's going to be healthy for us and everyone, because it doesn't come off as ignorance. It comes off as let's educate each other, because there are things that I don't know that they know. So, you know, but let's say hello to Michelle Jenkins.
Hi, y'all. Okay, I didn't know the other two people that's on the panel, but I just want to thank you guys for speaking your truth. I came in late, but I missed the Faith Evans part, so I watched the re-thing. But you guys have that passion for what you're saying and what you believe. And I've never actually had a conversation openly like this with any of my gay friends, or even my sister who's married to a woman, or, you know, just never had that adult conversation. And like you said, it's not the church place to say what goes on in your bedroom, whether you straight or gay. It's not their place. But people in the church want to judge and push their judgments off on each other and make you feel like you're less than they are of a Christian than they are, when we all are loved by God in the same capacity. Your sin is not no worse than my sin, and vice versa. So then you learn your word and you learn your father, and then he'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
I know people that have been ostracized from church because they are gay. And that's not right.
Yeah.
Because who are you? Who are you?
Let me say this first, because at the end of the day, if the church is going to be concerned about my bedroom, let's be concerned about everybody's bedroom.
Well, exactly. And who's going to talk about their bedroom in church? So if you're not talking about
it's too much.
Nobody's bedroom should be in the church.
Yeah.
You know,
let's talk about the pastor's bedroom.
Right.
Because, I mean, my mom is a pastor, and my mom has never done anything. But I know pastors who the bedroom my bedroom is way better than that.
So, SoDebNair, you are in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how the pastors down here get down, right?
Yes.
And
but
so
even
go to the bedroom, you could go to the office, the pastor study, and they be having some things going on back there. And then they come out in the pulpit and try to preach to me how I'm supposed to live my life.
But listen, even I lived in Ohio, I have lived in Maryland, I've lived in New Orleans, I have lived in Orlando, I have lived in Atlanta twice. So the bedrooms look the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna talk about the bedroom, let's talk about all the bedrooms.
Right. So,
because honestly, our bedrooms look a little bit more sacred than a lot of them bedrooms, to be honest.
I'm from Cleveland, SoDebNair.
Huh?
I'm from Cleveland, so I've been here quite a few years, but it's a totally different.
I'm from Columbus. I'm from Columbus.
Okay. It's a different mindset in the North and the South with Black people. It's very different.
Addie says, if I were gay, I would never entertain a religion that authentically hates me because of my sexuality. That's crazy, messed up. I'm better than people who judge me. Y'all deserve better. Absolutely. That's why we don't go to them churches.
And that's
gracefully blessed said. Gracefully blessed said the pastor's bedroom. Child, that could be a reality show.
Exactly.
Y'all think Love and Hip Hop is bad? Pull up the pastor's bedroom.
Okay.
Hey, can I say something?
Go ahead.
And no tea. But I got a major gay singer, gay pastor singer that I talk to on a regular basis.
I've had many of gay singers that be in my inbox all the time.
You understand the concept of what I'm coming from. Gay in the church don't even mean nothing to me anymore because it's so normal. I expect it to be gay men in a church living under the umbrella of a church because they need protection. Gay men need to be protected either if it's under a church or if it's under a gay family.
Whoever Addie is, I love you so much. Child, put a blue light in the pastor's bed. But don't put it just in the bed. Listen. Put it in the pastor's office. How about that?
Yeah.
In the pulpit. Put that motherfucker in the pulpit.
Right. And piggybacking on what you said, piggybacking off of what you said, when you oh my God, the down low people in the church is even more dangerous because they're living a lie, they're preaching a lie, they have children and wives and everything. Prime example would be the church over there in Lithonia. Then the pastor is no longer here, but you know what I'm saying? That was a mess. And all them boys came out and spread the business.
We
That
all
But you
know
know
was
what? But you
we
know
all
what I
know he
hate?
did die of cancer. He did not die of cancer.
exactly.
Mm,
But the church and
I'm
the people
look.
protected
I'm a
him.
cam down on
They
that one.
protected him and his
I
secret.
He
cam
ain't
down.
died
Can
no
you
damn
find it? Where is my
cancer.
cam down?
Wait. Allegedly.
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 Mhm.
Princess said something good. She said gay men run 60% of the church. But you know what would be great? Pull all the gay people out of the church and to see how well it works.
Everybody.
Pull it out. See how many people there on Sunday.
Everybody.
It ain't
Our
no
church
different.
only opened a month ago and I haven't been yet.
A lot of gay men run to church for
I mean,
protection.
there definitely will be no music ministry.
They'll be in the front in a pulpit.
Addie
Giving you
said,
the word of God.
Addie said the office is where the bodies are buried. Let me tell you something. What you know is what you know. That's all I'm
Who
gonna
is she? I like her.
But you know, if
You know
people
what you're
were
talking about.
if people were
say.
more
No facts.
concerned about people's well-being and their mental health and
People
not
so
concerned about who they having their O's with, the world would be a much better place.
Exactly.
My
How
daughter,
about how about turning that focus into helping people that are out on the streets?
yeah,
How about turning that focus on the people who can't pay their rent? How about turning that focus on about people who can't eat every day? How about turning that focus on people who are losing their jobs? If they put that much focus on people who need the help versus the people who are gay in the church, you know how much better the church will be?
well, the church will be what the church should be, and
Oh,
Right.
that's what it's never gonna be.
hold on now, hold on. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Allegedly, that's what it would be. That's what it would be.
Allegedly.
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 Well, one thing, the religion, man-made religion, is too political. You have your different levels of, you got your pastors, your bishops, and then your people on going on down. Long time ago, women wasn't even supposed to be in the pulpit. A
At
woman
all.
nope.
was supposed to talk or
Oh,
do nothing in the church but see about the chilling, and that's
But
it. But
but
times
that's
have
why
changed.
that's why I have respect for women,
I
period,
like
because
her.
my mother is a pastor.
I fuck
Mhm,
My mother's twin sister is a pastor.
I fuck
mhm.
My
with that.
mother has many a female friends who are pastors. So I ride for that because again, this is something that they were discriminated against. Princess said, well, I'm not gay. I might not show up. You might not show up, but if you go there and the music ministry is gone because the gays is gone, you definitely gonna show up when the message shows up and not when the music ministry starts. That's
And he
all.
always got dreads.
If the gays come out that church, the pastor might not even be there.
Right.
Mhm. The
If
pastor
they got to
always appoint.
fulfill,
The pastor always appoint his mistress.
Did you
The
say
pastor
that?
always appoint the pastor always appoint his mistress.
Say it's gonna be a whole other church forming around the corner because the
Hmm.
pastor already
they're
got
gonna
a
be
Hmm.
congregation.
Hmm.
they're gonna be at the front of the church, looking for a pastor, looking for an offer. Can someone? We'll take anyone. Can we
I
get
got to
someone?
work at 3, so this ain't can't be too long.
Yeah, a long time ago, I stepped away from the church though. In that aspect, I had been introduced to God. I had been baptized. I knew Him, and I created my own relationship with Him, and it hasn't steered me wrong yet. It's
Yeah.
when I don't listen to those messages that I know He's sending to me, and I feel it, but I ignore it when I get upset with myself. But as long as I listen to what God sends me and where He steers me, I'm good. And that don't mean that I'm not gonna run into nobody. You're gonna run into problems, but He
But
always with
let me say this though. Church is not bad. What I do think is it's like the elementary school of spirituality, right? It's like, go learn the fundamentals of who God is
Mhm.
and how God operates. There are some things, I mean, we were taught things in history, math. We learned algebra, and we don't use that in real life, but there are things that we learn in school that we just don't use in real life.
Yeah.
So church is like elementary school to me. It's like you go learn the fundamentals of God. But at some point, it's time to come out and actually give what you've learned from church to other people.
Yeah. And form your own
It ain't
understanding
sexual.
of
It's
it.
not always sexual.
I don't think
be
that it's what you get from God. I'm praying to him that it's not sexual. It's just it's what you learn from him. And to me, my everyday life is a walk of God. I go out, I drink, I smoke sometimes, but I also can give you a word from God. Like just because in any state of mind, I can still do that. Which is why people are so mad at me, because it's like, how can you do all this at the same time? Because I'm a child, I'm a product of God, period. But hey, because you can't do it, that's not my problem. You take that up with God. That's not my personal problem. That's yours, because you didn't take the time to actually learn who you actually serve. At the end of the day, I can still live my regular day life and still know how to say, hey, if Portia comes to me, I got a word for you if God gave it to me. And guess what? If I got to spend 45 mother effing minutes and telling it to her, I can do that.
Let me tell y'all, I done quoted a couple of scriptures from gospel songs, but I was born in 1980. I will put on my Mr. Biggs radio and I be doing all types of stuff in my head. I'm talking about trap or die. You understand me? So I identify with both. I'm not such a, all I listen to is gospel, but I do know where to go to when I need to get what I need. And for me, it just hasn't been the church or the people in it. It's been my own relationship with God. I will go out there and sing and actually, as I'm singing the lyrics, I'm praising and worshiping him at the same time. So, you know, you have to form your own. And what
church
the
has
people
always
think about, and the church think about you won't matter unless it's a family member that you love. And then that's when a whole nother conversation comes into play. But, you know.
Church has always been a place since the 1700s, since before the beginning of time. Church has always been a place of congregation.
Yeah, and that I love.
When all the Christians get together and they become one. Every Sunday, they become one. That was the goal.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point that you have pastors and ministers who manipulate the system to get what they want out of the situation, that's when it becomes, okay, so I need to focus on myself. I need to get what I get out of the situation, and I need to focus on that. What do I need to do? Now, like I said, I've been in a situation that I had to teach people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about like being single long term. You know, I don't know nothing about like actually loving you, looking at you and saying, what make you afraid? What make you happy? What make you want to say, baby, I want to cuddle up to you? That's the type of love that God has. And that's the type of love that I'm looking for. Not in a relationship, but when it comes to anybody, when it comes to love, you have to consider the fact that you have to find people who can be your low-key God.
And well, I don't want to say. Wait. Now we ain't gonna do that part.
Go ahead, because I knew that was with a rebuttal. Go ahead.
Be a vessel of God. Be a vessel.
What you want is you want someone who can give you the experience of God from them. The love that you get from God, you should be able to get from who you're dating. Period. And that means forgiving. That means, you know, I'm committed. That means I'm loyal to this. That means that, you know, we're working on something that's serious. You may not be the perfect person, although God is perfect according to the Bible. There are things that I have to work on to get to the place of this relationship looking the best way that it can towards God.
Well, like the Bible says, we're not perfect humans, but we strive for perfection every day.
Every day, absolutely.
If you can find somebody that make you, when you wake up in the morning, you say, I want to be better for him. Or I want to be better for her. That's love.
That's love. But the
thing
we shouldn't do the thing we should not do. We love the person, our
but
partner,
not basic.
but we don't love them more than ourselves, and we don't love them more than God.
You're
Yes.
right. You're
Because
absolutely right.
the thing is that it says that he lives in us. God is love. Love lives in your heart. So how you giving out God to people who can't give it back to you?
Because a lot of times people see, and I will say this from experience. I was in a 10-year relationship and we just broke up like 6 months ago. So my whole thing was what I wanted in life, you didn't want.
And I just want to say to Queen Elizabeth 82, because everybody does not follow Jesus Christ. Whoever you believe in, follow them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no, I'm
Right. It's non-denominational, but God is universal. Love is
Wherever
universal.
where it's not our responsibility to
it ain't.
manage where everybody else ends up at. Whatever you believe in, follow that religion because that's what you believe in. That's what God put in your heart.
Yeah.
Because again to me, they all lead back to God. So unless you are like an atheist or a devil worshiper, then I don't know what to tell you. But outside of all those things, they all lead back to God. So that's all I can say. But I don't want to just give one road to Jesus Christ because everybody doesn't believe in that.
Yeah.
And the Bible tells you to respect people who don't believe in that.
Right.
That's
the Bible,
Jesus
Jesus Christ tells you to respect that.
Yeah.
And if you have that testimony of God and Jesus Christ, that's your testimony.
And that's amazing. And nobody and no one's shutting that down. But I also want to be respectable of anyone else who believes anything different.
Right.
Oh, and here's the thing: a real Christian is going to love someone no matter who they, because you're supposed to love people no matter what. What if your love to that person is what God is using you for to bring them back to him? Like you never know. And I'm not saying to him as the God you serve, but to him as whoever that God represents to them. I never forget, I was working a job and this girl was going through something, and I told her to pray about it. I was like, if the chair is who you pray to the chair. Whatever God you pray to, pray about it. Needless to say, I was calling to the office because I was told you're not supposed to tell nobody to pray about it. Well, I didn't tell her to pray to my God. So I learned then I'm just gonna leave prayer out of some things in the workplace, period. But I wasn't telling her, my thing is whoever it is that gives you what you need to get through the day,
you get it.
Pray to them.
Pray to them.
Because I know for me, it's God for me. But I'm not trying to convince anyone else.
That's not your job. That's not your job. That's not your job.
Right. He uses people to bring him to him. You know what I'm saying? We're vessels. So we could say something that touch a person that did not believe in a higher power, and that one thing you said or did, or even a smile that you gave them, can lift them up and bring them closer to a higher power. I'll say it like that because, like, if I listen to gospel music or rap music or whatever, it's going to touch me in some type of way. So that artist is going to reach a lot of people. So what if that's a gospel artist and they're singing about God? What if, it's just however, we're all God's people. So he could use that person for, that's what
Queen Elizabeth 82. There are many roads to God, not many roads to Jesus. And let's be all the way honest. There are many roads to God. There are not many roads to Jesus. Christianity leads you to Jesus. There's no other religion that leads you to Jesus. So there's not many roads that lead you to Jesus, but there are many roads that lead you to God. Again, no one on here that I've heard has said that Jesus is not real, and it's not, but if that's your reality, and if that's who you believe in, that's your road to God. But there are not many roads to Jesus. Jesus is based off of Christianity.
A blue-eyed, blonde-haired man.
Listen,
that we all to deal with, to appreciate a a blue-eyed.
Well, there are some black people who believe that Jesus is black. So that's not true. There are people who don't believe that he's black because the Bible describes him as a black person.
What we do know is ain't now one of us ever seen him for real. So
that's very true. But what we also know is that there are many religions. What we do also know is that there are many religions who have the same story of Jesus Christ that lead them back to God.
When I look at a person, all I really want to see in them is that they've gained their strength. I'm not concerned as to where they from. I had talked, my daughter's 12, and I talked to her about what's love got to do with it because it's one of my favorite movies. And I told her, I want to watch it with you. Well, her little sneaky self went on Netflix and watched it by her darn self. So I told her, you know, the most powerful moment of that movie to me, and I'm not a
What movie was it?
What's Love Got to Do with it with Tina Turner? I'm not a Buddhist by no means, but when she started chanting and worshiping the God that was giving her the strength to make the food she needed to make, I wasn't concerned with who she was worshiping. I was just praising and glad that, you know, she was able to take the steps that was needed at that time, and whoever she was praying to, it made her feel strong enough to do so. So that I agree with you. It ain't about who you pray to isn't my concern. I just want to know that you're able to get what you need and get the strength that you need. And if I got something to get to you, let me know.
In that movie, she was doing the chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and that's
I
from
know that chant
Buddhism.
now, but I
And
ain't
so, you know,
oh yeah,
I
I
was
know.
raised.
Look, I can chant it like she was. You know how she get real fast, and because I love the movie, but I don't serve that God.
Well, let
But
me
I
read
gave
this.
it someone.
Listen,
I gave
Princess
it
said,
someone who's a
hold on.
Buddhist.
Princess said, I've learned to say a higher power.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth,
I received that.
Queen Elizabeth said, I don't have to convince anyone life is proof. Okay, that's fine. Addie said, I'm not a Christian anymore after 35 years believing, but Fantasia sings Precious Lord at Aretha Franklin's funeral gets me every time. I be trying to fight it, but still rep for my ancestors though. Queen Elizabeth 82 said, believe as you like. I'm not saying anything at all. And Jesus was not blonde hair, blue eyed. I said that. Read your Bible. Addie said, yes, House of Princess, higher power works better for me. And she says, Queen Elizabeth says, say it again for the people in the back. Now, I don't know what she's saying to people in the back about, but again, you can't knock nobody else's relationship with God and their religion. However they get to God is how to get there. We all may be trying to get to Atlanta, but there are different roads to get to Atlanta. Just like there are different roads to get to God.
Right.
And that's what that is.
I was taught that too, not to slander.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was just taught not to slander other people's religions or beliefs. You believe what you believe and respect other people's beliefs. And then if you don't agree with it or don't understand what they're talking about, then just don't say anything, because it's a conviction that you have, whatever and whoever that you believe in and praying to. So I'm not gonna go and try to convince a person to believe what I believe, but I will respect how they worship or how they believe. You know, it's not something that I would like to impose on anyone else. My walk is individual, and it's not going to be on the same level as yours or my husband's or anybody else's. That's my own personal relationship. It's more powerful than my marriage or any other relationship, even of my child that I gave birth to. There is no other relationship stronger than that. So that's, I don't know if the lady is agreeing or disagreeing with the conversation, but it is an adult conversation that's needed. And it's still not time to sit around with people yet. I still wear my mask and try not to be around people as much as possible, because it's still illness out here. But when you get on YouTube and listen to different people, you could get a better perspective and learn some things.
Absolutely. As far as other people's religion though, or who they worship, if you walk up and you see someone broken down in tears or been hit by a car, you're not gonna say, hey, what God you serve? You're gonna spring into action and help them, because that's the empathetic and loving and caring person that you are. And
yes,
if I know that about you, it's not where your relationship is with God is with your God is not my concern.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned with what type of heart and what type of heart do you have and what type of person you are. And if you can show me that you are a good person with a good heart, even if he's still working on you, because God knows he's still working on me. But I do have a good heart and I'm a good person. If you can show me that, the rest is not my business, like at all.
Right. And I know, like, my grandmother used to say, the kindness of strangers. You don't have to know a person to love a person. You don't have to like a person to love a person. Some people you have to love from a distance and leave them alone, but you still can love them or show them love. So it's just like, just being kind to people, treating people how you want to be treated, and just, loving each other like he love us.
Well,
You know.
Helen easily says, "Church hurt, I survived it." And I'm just want to give out this Romans 12:10 says, "Love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor." So if you don't respect anybody else's religion, the Bible tells you to do respect them. Period. That's
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to agree.
It doesn't say convert them into being a
Right.
Jesus, like a Jesus freak. Just respect them. That's it. Wherever they go after that, that's none of your business.
Ain't got nothing to do with you.
Nothing to
It
do.
don't.
But everybody don't really understand or don't care to. I don't even think it's the people who don't get it, they don't want to. You have to want to understand what you don't in order to open yourself up to receive it.
Absolutely. I like this. What Princess says. She said, if meat offends my brother, I won't eat it. I don't, that means if I'm a Christian and you are a Muslim, I don't gotta go into your house and keep on speaking on Christianity because you are a damn Muslim. That's your religion is your religion, period.
Me and my
And
daughter
Addie says, yes, respect first. My own feeling, this is me because I told them I no longer subscribe to Jesus. Just my ancestors. Who are they to judge my God's ancestors? That's not Christian-like. And the thing is that again, we don't know what our ancestors believed before they got to the United States. So we literally cannot say what we believe in. We know what white people told us. That's it. And I'm not saying that Jesus Christ is not that. I'm not saying that Christianity is not that. They could have misconstrued the whole thing they could have put different stuff in there. The crazy part is that they hate Christianity and a gay man rewrote the Bible.
Look, I said the Bible done been rewrote like the the Bible is like I go.
The Bible been rewrote. The Bible been rewrote like we write checks. It just different names going there every day. It doesn't. You don't even know who wrote it at this point. We just know that we get to read it.
Who you need to pay? I need to pay. Georgia Power let me pay. So you write it to prove whatever point you want to prove. Just like all our life we heard. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Children, don't honor thy mother and thy father. And I think I told you, but a few years ago, my mom, she quoted me a part of the Bible that said, fathers do not what is the word? Provoke your children, but raise them in the way of God. And when my mama quoted that to me at 35, 38, I looked at her like, well, what the hell was that verse when you was beating the hell out of me, telling me, the verse that serviced you at the time. And not saying that the honor thy mother and thy father does not hold weight, but mother and father, did y'all work on that?
But what was the first part of that?
It said, fathers, I'm gonna find the scripture. It said, fathers do not provoke your children.
Stop there. Wait. Stop there. Fathers, do not provoke your children. Which means,
go ahead.
Which means there is a mutual respect.
There should be a mutual respect.
Yes. But people took that first part and threw that in the trash.
Absolutely.
Right. And the second part, they was like, honor thy mother and thy father. Because it definitely tells the parent to respect that child like they respect the children.
And what did I say?
The children actually came first.
Yes.
Because they didn't ask to be here.
And when you're a parent that's hitting somebody who cannot fight you back, but if they could, they would knock your ass out, that's a bully. I don't care how you chop that up. Because you can teach a child without tearing them to shreds. And I know some kids are more difficult than others, but yeah, when my mama told me that quote, I looked at her like, well, well, thank you.
I wish I would have known that. I wish I would have known that verse before when I
Man,
was a
what?
kid. Because I'd be like, what did this say verse? Because first of all, I don't feel respected.
Look, when she said it, I didn't believe her. I had to go and find it because I just couldn't believe that. I could believe that something that was of God, that's supposed to be fair to everybody, would reference something like that. But in all my life, I never heard.
Wait. Give me a second. Mm-hmm. Queen Elizabeth 82. Just because someone disagrees with you does not mean they cannot find common respect and mutual understanding. Absolutely. Let me tell you why this is wrong. This comes from a Christianity background because a lot of people don't disagree with what y'all believe in. We just don't have an opinion. So there's no disagreement. So the common ground was already there. You are having a problem with agreeing and disagreeing. A lot of us don't have that. If you think about Muslims, if you think about atheists, if you think about any other religion, they don't even want to go back and forth with Christians because it doesn't matter to them. They don't. They literally avoid it. They don't go back and forth because they don't care. So it's not about what you would disagree about. You are having a disagreement with yourself. The rest of the world and the other religions are just living life. So just think about that. That's all I want to say. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sending you something. Go ahead.
What you were saying about the honor thy mother and father, that's from the 10 Commandments. But the other part is from a different scripture.
Yeah,
and so we didn't get that as a kid either, but we just got whoopings. If you did bad or you did something wrong, you just got whooped. We didn't question it because first, my grandparents raised me. They was old school. They didn't have to explain to us why we was getting a whooping. We knew why we was getting a whooping. And sometimes you didn't even deserve that whooping, but you still got it. And then you grew up and you knew responsibility, you knew respect. But the next generation, my daughter's generation, they don't have the respect of their parents and the elders and stuff like that the way we did. So it's it got lost in translation.
But the 10 Commandments were in the Old Testament as well.
In the Old Testament, right.
The New Testament, Jesus killed that and he said, just love thy neighbor like you love thyself. Yeah. But people want the respect of the Old Testament without giving the respect of the New Testament. And that's where the problem comes in at, because the Old Testament told you that your family can rape you or molest you and you shut up. Because this is you abide by the Old Testament. It's don't talk about it. The New Testament is telling you respect me because I respect you, and that respect has not coincided with each other. And so this is why we have so many problems, because we have our grandparents and our parents telling us, well, probably the new generation ain't on that, but from my age range, they are wanting the respect of their parents and their great grandparents. But it was very toxic. Aretha Franklin had a baby by her dad, allegedly. Right. There are things that were going on at that time frame that was not okay. In this new part that Jesus came back and he gave, whether you believe in him or whether you not, the commandment still stands to love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And when it comes to that, you have to respect that, because you cannot get respect from somebody who don't respect you. Yeah. That's point blank period.
You can mistreat a child to the point where they have no respect for you.
You can watch For My Man and all the other shows, and they will show you that them children will kill your ass at nighttime when you're trying to go to sleep, because they don't have respect for you. I do too, and that's what I'm saying, because you feel like you aren't respect because you birthed the kid, but you can't bring no kid on this earth and disrespect them and treat them like shit, and then expect them to respect you and not want to fucking hurt you. I mean, excuse my language, but hurt you. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's not gonna happen.
With our parent, well, I know with my parents, they did not they cornered us out of fear. I feared my mother with every inch of my being, and I shouldn't have had to fear her. I should have just
Yeah.
had genuine respect for her.
Yeah.
So with my daughter, my mom led with, "Hi, I'm your mom, but my name is this." I lead
Hmm.
to my daughter with, "Hi, my name is Portia, and I'm your mother," because
Yeah.
I am who I am, and I want her to know that I'm human, and I hurt, and I cry, and I go through things. And my mental health journey, I told her every step of the way because I wanted her to understand how real mental health is. So if she
Yeah.
ever started feeling what I was feeling, she would go immediately. Unlike my mom,
Can't hear you.
went out. My husband called. Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
Like my mom, who was never diagnosed or never sought any help for her mental health issues, she could have helped me just by educating me on who she was and what she was going through. And I told Deb, well, earlier this morning, my mom finally told me a couple of weeks ago, "Portia, I'm not as strong as you think I am." And I had to
Hmm.
let her know, "I know you're not. But back in that day, you led with your strength, your anger, and your aggression." And I understand why, because back then, people from that generation went through, they were products of slaves. So they were
Yeah.
treated, the treatment came down the line. But I made sure not to have that type of relationship with my daughter where you feared me more than you
Hmm.
respected me. Because if you respect me, we could get a whole lot further than that fear. Because the day you don't fear me no more, like the day I didn't fear my mama no more after I had moved out, oh, I was a whole different portion of her.
That actually goes along with what Jaquez is saying right here. It says, if we sin, all we need to do is repent and he will forgive us. Nobody is perfect but Jesus, but we are perfect in him. And let me tell you why this makes sense. The Bible tells you that Jesus died for all of our sins, wrong or right. Even if you are sinning, it doesn't mean run amok. It means he trusted us to not run amok. The Bible took that and they used it as a fear tactic. Well, if you are sinning, you're going to hell. But the Bible clearly tells you that Jesus died for all of our sins. He went down to hell, took the keys, locked the door, kicked the devil in the nuts, and he left out of there, right? So at this point, it's not a possibility because he's already died for him. How are we dying for sins that he already paid for? Now, if he did that, and we are still held accountable for that, was he real? Because I feel like I'm being slighted at this point. If he died for all the sins, but we still can sin and go to hell, then what did he die for?
But you have to, if you, okay, my understanding of repenting is, okay,
It's a
you repent,
self-conscious, it's a
it's like
self-conscious thing
a
because he
cycle.
died, he put it on you. You have
Right.
responsibility for you. That's
It,
what it is. And that's why people I'll use myself as an example. Growing up, my mom didn't apologize at all. So I didn't apologize to anybody because I'm like, well, I grew up learning, apology is showing I'm sorry, not saying I'm sorry, because I'm sorry doesn't mean shit to me at all. It doesn't. Me and my ex, we went through a lot of stuff in life, not realizing that our apology method was different. He liked to hear I'm sorry. I like to see I'm sorry. But these are things as human beings that we have to learn from each other because Jesus died for our sins. He already gave the ultimate apology for all the sins. Now, when I ought my brother or my sister, how are you going to do it? There are so many ways that apology has to happen, but I got to learn you enough to apologize to you in the way that you need to learn that you want an apology. Because I can tell y'all I'm sorry for Portia, that can mean everything in the world. But for you, it could be like, I don't believe that because I mean he did it. People do that in my comment section all the time. Well, he went on that live and he did this and he did this and he said this, but I already apologized. I said I was sorry. What do you want me to do? Sacrifice my life?
well,
Is that
I
what you
think
want from
that
me?
when you repent, this is my theory, is that, you repent one time, but then you sin again. So you have to repent each time that you sin. And then,
Right.
it's like it's an apology to God or to Jesus when you do wrong or when you sin. Okay.
Right.
So then, um, you know, we'll never know until that day comes when you meet him and see him after your life is through. We'll never know. Whatever it says in the Bible, whatever we know in this life, it will be non-existent once we cross over. So then you try to make the best of your life while you're here. You try to be the best person that you can be while you're here. And then you face your judgment when you're gone. The repentance to me is salvation, is for your soul. And so that you can enter the kingdom if that's where you choose to go, if that's
Let
what
me
you
let me
believe.
let me read the super
Will
chat.
go.
Helene Inslee, she said, I don't understand why the Pentecostal church was so hard on people back in the mid 80s. There's not as bad now. Didn't know about their dress code. Their dress code. There's a girl that I went to high school with. She can never wear pants. And growing up, I made fun of her. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I made fun of her because she always had to wear skirts. I did not. I thought it was like something her parents just made up. As an adult, I realized that was real for her.
My
And
grandparents called it the Pentecostal and the Church of God in Christ Sanctified, and I don't really know the difference because I
mhm,
don't worship in either of those churches, but I know they're very strict,
yeah, they are very strict.
very strict. So
Queen Elizabeth 82, she said, that's your truth. I've had Hindu friends that don't like Muslims. I mean, it happened to all, not just Christians. You can disagree and still have common ground. Not everyone thinks the same. I wasn't saying that. I'm saying as an individual, you have an option to make a choice on how you treat other people. So if your friend is Hindu, or your friend is a Muslim, or your friend is a Christian, you treat them the way that they want in their house. So if you go in the house and they're not eating pork, don't bring in pork rinds or pig feet in a house, period, because that's not part of their religion. You have to respect their house. That's all I was saying. She also says, you can respect and disagree. I don't believe in death penalty, and some people do. It does not mean we can't respect each other. To me personally, a death penalty is not my life because the Bible tells you, if you believe in the Bible, that God is our judge. So the death penalty is a choice that is made amongst men. But
right,
jail is also made for black people too. So we can't really sit here and justify the death penalty or talk about jail system because it's not made for white people, it's made for black people. So that's a part of slavery. They just turned it into a different thing so that we are still enslaved.
exactly.
Addie said her mom was just like my dad. We feared everything, no respect and no willingness for understanding. A lot of our parents did that because they weren't privy to any of that. My mom, I won't tell that story because my mom would kill me if I told that story, but I understand that. Eddie also says, my thing about Christianity is they can ask Jesus for forgiveness, but don't feel that they have to ask their victim for apology. That's big. That's a big statement. And that's actually something that has bothered me because Jesus can forgive you all day. And a lot of people feel like that's your struggle. Like the guy told me, that's everybody has their own struggle. I just don't think that God is that vicious. I don't.
Mhm.
I don't feel like
For
that's acceptable
forgiveness is
for.
for you. And so even if that person never rectifies the situation or apologizes or try to make it right what he did to you, but you still have to forgive that person so you can have peace.
Yeah.
You know,
And even if you don't forgive that person, forgive yourself for letting
that's
yourself go
your,
through that. And
right.
it's not you taking responsibility or owning what that person did to you, but it's respecting yourself and taking ownership of the fact that I didn't have control over this, but I still want peace. So I'm going to give myself closure because this person can't give it to me.
Well, I've never experienced
Thank you,
sexual.
Michelle, for the super chat.
I've never experienced that kind of abuse before, but I have experienced domestic abuse. So
Mhm.
it's different, but it's still the same type of, it's a hurt that
Yeah.
one person does to another person. And it takes years to heal if you don't know the proper steps to take to get
Mhm.
that healing, you know.
But and that's why I always encourage people to go through counseling and people were like, well, I don't like the counselor, this and this. First of all, your counselor's not there to um, pat your ass and say, hey, everybody was wrong and you were right. In certain situations, yes, they were wrong, but there are also things that you are doing in your life now that are spewing out the things that have happened to you in life, and you have to fix those things. Yes, you are upset that these things have happened to you, but it still has caused an effect on you that is spewing out on other people, and you have to fix those things, because even though it's not your fault, you are still causing an issue with other people, because what your hurt has given you, you're now giving it out to other people.
Exactly.
And
And
my
it
counselor told me
repeats
that
the
my counselor
cycle.
told me that when me and my ex were together, that my anger was horrible. My counselor told me that my anger was like petting a dragon, and that my ex had the ability to pet the dragon and wake it up. And she said when he woke it up, I would burn the whole house down.
Mhm.
I had to deal with that.
Mhm.
And guess what? It came from my childhood trauma. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't my fault. But I was still the person who was giving it out. Why would I want to cause trauma on someone else? And I hate the trauma that came upon me, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that when the young lady was talking about mental illness, in our community is like taboo. We were raised to not speak about what goes on in the household. If you got a
Yeah,
whooping, you better not go to school and tell it. Things like that. So as adults, the things that we went through or that we struggled through, we didn't have anyone to talk to, or you didn't go to the therapy. That's just something that we did not do. This was 20, 30 years ago. But now in this day and age, it's more acceptable to go get some help. Take you some
yeah,
medicine if you need it, but heal. However you heal, just heal and
yeah.
forgive.
And that's the thing. We all don't heal the same way, but you
Yeah.
have to find out how you are able to be healed and use those tools that you are given.
Hmm.
Queen Elizabeth 82 says, but if you're a follower of Christ, he taught comparison and forgiveness. So that's on that person. You should uh, defiantly apologize to the victim and ask for forgiveness. You gotta talk to people who have done things, other people who just won't do that.
Yeah.
Because I can't live my life waiting on somebody to apologize to
Right.
me.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic, and that's torturing me more than that other person, because they could torture me and then go on with their life like it never happened, and I'm still sitting here waiting on its apology.
And some people that are narcissistic can do the most horrendous things to people and feel like they didn't do nothing wrong and they will
Yep.
never apologize.
Yep. Um sorry. People are
Me
texting
too.
me.
No, I was reading that statement that you put up there. That's very true.
Who did
Sometimes
I put
church
up?
look like the club.
Yes. Oh, listen, my ex hated when I said that. I said the only thing that's missing is the bar in the bag.
Right. And
That's
they
the only thing
probably
that's
got that
missing.
in the preacher's office.
Yeah, that's
You
very
never
true.
know. You never
Jacques
know.
says, listen, God said, come as you are, whether in jeans, polo shirt, dress suit. And if you don't have none of those items, come in with what you have. Trust me, I have seen it all in church. Absolutely. Queen Elizabeth 82 says, further, you should show in your actions you're sorry to that person. But you're talking to people who are waiting for the apology versus the person who has actually needed to give it out. So. But I get what you're saying, though, Queen Elizabeth. But we got to look at it from both sides.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting off
I
of here
love your
too.
channel, SoDebNair. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
having
much.
me on.
I enjoyed you so much, and whenever I do this again, because you guys like my first real people that came on the panel besides Princess, that I didn't know, so I'm kind of happy about that. And I've enjoyed your time.
Okay.
Whenever I do it again, you're more than welcome to come back up here. I definitely enjoyed you, and I love this.
Well, I'm
And this was a
definitely a
really
subscriber and I have my notifications on, but sometimes you know how YouTube do. But
yeah.
I'll even try to catch your replays because I like your morning thing too. So you
Listen,
you
I'm
are
trying.
touching people. You are
So
touching people.
my thing is this: I'm not a morning person. My morning is normally like at 11 to 12, but I try to get up early for you guys so that it's up at that time. Probably next week I'll probably be doing it again. This week I want to do a few other different things because I'm trying to gauge how my channel is going to be right now. I'm trying to figure out how it looks or whatever. But eventually we're going to get a steady schedule.
Okay, so when is your brunch thing gonna be?
Um, I believe it's next Saturday. It's gonna start.
Okay, and you'll like do a little thing in your community tab for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll post
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna try to catch up with that too.
My
But
best friend,
whatever
she was
time I
actually
catch
in.
her.
She
Hmm?
was actually my friend. I'm doing it with. She was actually in the chat earlier,
Oh,
and I don't remember if she said this week or next week. So I have to ask her. But if it's not this Saturday, it'll be next Saturday.
I'll be watching out for it. Yeah,
Okay.
but whatever time you do the inspiration, it's the message,
Yeah.
and you can't always coordinate your times for us as the
Yeah.
viewers. We just have to catch it when we can catch it because
Yeah.
now the world is opening up and you need that extra inspiration now because you got to deal face to face with
Yeah.
people and it's hard. It's
Yeah.
harder than it was pre-COVID because now you just want to slap somebody the way they be acting. I mean, it's so much going on and so people so angry.
Yeah, people keep coming in the chats and like, I'm like, listen, I'm not doing this conversation about what happened before, and they keep coming in here. I'm blocking people. I'm like, there's no timeout. It's blocked because I
Yeah,
want positive stuff on here.
exactly.
Like even I actually like Queen Elizabeth because she was very respectable. She gave her opinions, but it was respectable. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Don't be disrespectful because I don't disrespect anybody.
She
And
wasn't
I
trolling, she was giving her opinion.
yeah,
And we
and I
can
and I and
disagree
I
or
love that her
agree.
opinion wasn't the
Yeah,
same as ours because it
right.
gives us an opportunity. I wish she would have came up on the panel so we could have had a conversation about the differences. But one day, we'll do that. But I definitely appreciate you, Queen Elizabeth 82, and I thank you for even challenging us to have this kind of conversation. So
So
yeah.
so when do you go live? Are you doing something like do you do like a late night talk thing or
So I've been thinking about that. I may do that tomorrow. I'm doing a conversation with my ex. He's going to ask me questions about us breaking up and what that looks like for me.
okay.
Which is going to be interesting because we've never done that before. And I think that it's healthy for people to see that exes can be friends still,
Yeah, they
and
can.
we've worked really hard to be friends. So we're doing that tomorrow. And then after that, I'm not sure what my next one's going to be, but I'll let you guys know soon.
So the beginning of this show was about the Faith Evans.
Yeah, we
Okay.
weren't supposed to do all this, but
Oh, okay.
I'm probably going to download this and break this into two different videos.
Okay. Okay.
But
Well,
this was a really good
it
conversation. So
really
I don't
was.
Yeah, I don't mind that we did this. I actually love that we did this.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm in my 50s and it's the first time that I've had this type of conversation in my life.
Yeah,
I really needed that actually because it just teaches you. I can learn something new every day.
yeah.
Teach me something new, taught me something new. You maybe learned something new as well. So, and that's what we can do for each other is learn from each other too.
And I think just from different age groups, again, like my
Mhm.
audience for my podcast is mostly gay guys. This channel is mostly women. So I love it because it gives me opportunity to see different perspectives of things. It also gives me opportunity to have different kind of conversations about different stuff that I can't have on my podcast channel.
Mhm.
And it's amazing because I would never get to know things like how Queen Elizabeth 82 feels. I would never know how you feel. I wouldn't know like with me and I just lost what her name is that fast. Hold on.
The young lady that was just on the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't catch
Um
her name or the young man's name.
his name was Izzy or something. I don't remember. See, I don't remember names like that.
I'm terrible with names. No worries, but I mean, they each had a great point of view and a different
Yeah.
perspective, and just it was refreshing to join in with y'all.
Yeah. And I love it. Even Sinitra, like she calls me on her channel to do positive things. Like I love that because it's like opening up doors that we may not ever be able to open up because we're on the internet.
Hmm. Hmm.
Normally we hang around our comfort zone people where we're all in agreement and things like that. But Portia, that's her name, Portia.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, Portia, like we talk, like me and her have been talking since all this stuff has happened, but she's been so inspirational to me. She's helped me through a lot of things. She has been a really good friend.
She in
And
Atlanta too?
huh?
Is she in Atlanta too? In Georgia?
Yeah. She's in Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's a really good person. Like, I mean, we literally talked for 5 hours. We talked till like 6
Mhm.
o'clock this morning.
Okay.
So, those are things that I love because it's like, I get to learn other perspectives. People get a chance to know me personally and why I feel the way that why I feel, why I am the way that I am, and vice versa. So I love
I
it.
can tell you have a strong testimony. I'd like to hear it someday.
Yeah. One day I'm gonna tell the whole thing because my whole life people have been saying like God got something for you. He's going to use you. I already know what it is, but this is the beginning step of that. So
And just like you did that for someone, I mean, that's what you became my hero that day. You
yeah,
know,
really,
as you were sharing what you had done and what you had said to that person, that
yeah,
inspired her to move on and do what she needed to do for herself.
yeah.
That maybe gave the courage to myself or any other person to go ahead and step out on that. And God used you as a vessel to pass that along to her. So,
And I don't regret it at all. I
and
don't.
you shouldn't because He used you. And He's
Yeah.
going to continue to use and bless you because you're a good person. And I never met you a day in my life, but just see you and your
Have you ever
personality.
have you ever heard Shekinah Glory say yes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you.
Hmm.
Oh, I just feel that.
Hmm. Hmm.
That song actually is what sparked that in me because it's like, is your heart and soul in agreement to say yes? You know,
Yeah.
and you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
So when my heart and my soul and my spirit was in agreement on the say yes part, I jumped into that.
Hmm.
you know and I don't take that back. I actually take that as a big responsibility. So when people come in my comments and say, well, you are this and you are that, no, I already said yes to God. So
Right.
what you're saying, God's gonna block that because
Exactly. Because they're just being
that's you.
judgmental
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
don't even know. They have no idea what God got in store for you. That's
yeah.
between you and Him. And you just keep on your path and He going to continue to bless you.
There's one more. What's the other song? It's there's a guy who cries out in silence, searching for a heart that is desperate. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
can't hear you.
Uh, it said the words are, there's a heart that cries out in the silence, searching for a heart that is desperate,
Yeah. I
longing for a heart that is. I can't think of what the other words are.
keep going. Oh, well, hum the tune if you don't know the
It's
word. It'll come to me. But I know what you're talking
da,
about, though.
da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I can't think of what it is, but I love that song. Is the other those two songs are the songs that make me, when I doubt my yes, bring me
Yeah.
back to my yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna kill me because I don't know what the name of that song is.
You'll think of it. You'll think
uh
of when you ain't even
it's
thinking
like
about it.
it's on the tip of my tongue too. Uh, what's it cries out in the silence, searching for a heart that is desperate. Those other I
That's
cannot
the
think of those
part I
words.
know, but then I don't know the rest after that.
Queen Elizabeth 82. You have to know this song because I know you know it. Desperate.
What's the name of it?
That's what I'm trying to think. I can't think of the name of the song. I just
No, I
know
was
that
asking
part.
her.
Oh yeah. Um, hold on. I'm about to tell you what I'm gonna call mine because he don't know what it is.
I can't Google it because I got both of my things going. Oh shoot. Mm-mm.
Hey, what's that song that they say there's a God that cries out in the silence, searching for a heart that is desperate. What's the rest of it?
Mm.
Searching for a heart that is desperate. You can't figure it out. But I know this song. I cannot think
Oh,
of
it's
the rest of
next
the
on the
words.
table. Oh, can you put this in there?
Let me see if I can Google those words.
Yeah, put those words in and it will come up.
All right.
There's a voice crying
Let me
out.
put that bag on because it's definitely laundry room. It got a hole in it.
All right.
If I can't answer this because I'm
Thank
at the
you.
live cabin.
All right.
All right.
All right. Oh, he wants it all. That's what it is. Forever Jones. Forever Jones.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, look, and then Queen Elizabeth said it already. Yes. But that's the other song. It gets me through everything. It's like if I am doubting it, that song and the Shekinah Glory, yes, puts me right back in line.
Yeah. I have different artists that I go to for inspiration, whether it's gospel or like Mary J. That's my go-to. No
Okay.
matter what I've gone through since she came out, it's like every album is like parallel to what I've been through. And we're about the same age, not every situation, but it seemed like, you remember that time when that came out. I was with this person, I was going through that, and you put that on and just, and for gospel, it just like that Leandria Johnson boy, she'll send some chills down your spine. That
Oh,
girl will take you
Leandria
all the
Johnson has
way
a
to church.
song. Wait, Leandria Johnson has a song too. That oh man, now you about to make me look this up.
It's the one that the latest one that she has with Donald Lawrence.
I'm
The
gonna tell you, she got something that's older than that. I'm gonna tell
oh
you what it
yeah,
is.
I mean all her albums is.
Wait,
You don't even have to skip no songs. You could put that on and clean the whole house.
This was my best worship experience with Leandria Johnson now.
Did you see that video that she had? I don't know if they were at her house or someone's house, and DMX was there. It was like right before he died, and they like did like a praise and worship in the kitchen.
I didn't see that.
Oh my goodness. It was chilling because I don't know, maybe a week or so later is when he passed away.
Leandria Johnson, sooner or later.
Sooner or later. Okay.
Sooner or later, Leandria Johnson. Let me tell you something.
When did that
That
one come
song,
out?
that was her first album. It was in
Oh, okay.
2012. Sooner or later, that song got me through a lot.
The song that my go-to, her signature song is Jesus, the song that she sang on the
Oh
show.
yeah, I know that too. I know that too.
And I could be in my car, I could be in the shower or wherever. And I mean, that's what when I call on him. Singing that song, top of my lungs, off key. It doesn't, I mean, that's like you don't even need music. When she sings, she could just go without music, a cappella. That
Yeah, and
girl is
I've met
powerful.
Leandria Johnson in real life. I was out there when she was passing out cigarettes to people.
Okay.
But that's the kind of ministry that I love with the people who need you.
Because she goes like how Jesus went to the people. He didn't wait on the people to come to him. He went to the people, the
Yeah.
prostitutes, the people that was thrown away, the handicapped people or whatever, and it makes me angry when people in the church are so hypocritical and judgmental. And, if the church is supposed to be like a hospital for the sick or whatever, and I'm supposed to come as I am, broken, torn, hurt, or whatever, the man can't fix me, but the word that you're given is supposed to help me to fix myself.
Let me tell you something. I talk with my grandparents all the time. My grandparents, to me, were the example of what the church should be.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents would literally see you walk up and down the street all the time. They would speak to you. They would see it is, can we do it? Can we not? Can we do it? Can we not?
Mm-hmm.
And they would get something. Oh, are you going back and forth because you're looking for a job interview? The next week, this person has a job. Oh, you don't have no clothes to wear? Here's some clothes. Oh, you hungry? Here's some food. Sometimes, oh, you need somewhere to live? I got a room.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they were, So that's where my heart comes from. Because in real life, that's what I want to be. I want to be able to discern what I can and cannot do with people that need help.
Right.
and they just taught me that I've always that's why I do community service so much.
Mhm.
It's just I like helping people, so
What
that's
type
why
of community service do you do? Like, do you go
uh
out and do events and stuff, or
yeah,
just private stuff?
we still do well, I haven't done anything because of COVID, but even back in Ohio we used to go there was a lady, her name was Ada Martin, and people would donate food and we would go down through wherever the homeless people were at and give them food. I worked for the food banks. um what else did we do? I did some stuff here with like food drives and stuff here as well.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
actually just talked to Princess about doing something for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year coming up with our YouTube channels. But there's a lot of stuff that I've done. Like I worked with the food banks and with that lady Ada Martin in Ohio for years.
Well, now that everything is opening back up, I think organizations are able to be out again
Hmm.
because it was just like you drive through. But a lot
Yeah.
of homeless people don't have cars to drive through and get to the food. So
Hmm.
then you had different people who had the vehicles to take a large supply of stuff and drop stuff to people. But,
Well,
just,
and here in Atlanta, our homeless popularity used to be in downtown, and they moved them somewhere, and
yeah.
we don't even know where they're at now.
And then like years ago, I started with an organization in, I would say 2012.
Hmm.
And that's when the shelter was open at Pine and Cortland, I think that is. It's all
Hmm.
gated up now. We started
Oh
with
wow,
bologna sandwiches and bottles of water, just a
wow,
grassroots organization, and we would go down there and feed whoever was hungry until we ran out of food. And
yeah.
then it grew, and more people joined us. So we would do hot plates, or we would do like spaghetti day, or whatever, potluck. Everybody chip in and make something and bring it down. But they will lock you up now. They will give you a
Wow.
ticket, or they will. You can't just go down there
Well,
and
and
feed.
some of those homeless people will sue you because they get sick from the
them.
food you gave
Yeah,
them.
that
So
too.
it gets difficult, and that's the crazy part. Queen Elizabeth 82, she said, "I left the brick and mortar church years ago. I'm not saying saying folks should not go to church. It just did not work for me." And absolutely, like I said, to me, church is like elementary school. But at some point, you got to grow up and start giving out what God gave you from what He's taught you while you were there. And I think that a lot of us are doing. We understand the concept of that. Addie, if you can help out at homeless shelters, yeah, you just can't bring your own stuff. Yes, homeless shelters, sis. Yeah, you
And I
just
mean,
can't
they
bring your own
closed the
stuff,
one
which
that
is
was.
sad now because it's like people were doing it for so many years, but like now you can get sued because they get sick and things like that. Like it's just kind of it's getting crazy, and it's like what's been taken for good is like just turning into something else. So just helping and volunteering at those shelters is would probably be the best kind of thing to do. In
Yeah,
which now that the city's everything is opening back up, that's something that I plan on doing anyway. So
right. I mean, like, Portia's. It's her. It's her aunt,
mhm,
Elizabeth Omalati. You know
mhm,
her. And
mm-mm.
then they do, because they were at Turner Field, but that
Okay.
turned into the college. So now I don't know where they serve at for
Uh,
Thanksgiving, Easter, and Christmas.
mhm.
And they have those huge events. So I mean, sometimes you could team up with them. That's a little bit safer than trying to like be on
Do
the
your own
street and
thing.
doing
Yeah.
stuff. And then you got the people under the bridge. But I mean, like, it's crazy. It's the politics of it. Where do
Yeah.
those people go? And
Yeah.
now that the people that are behind on their rent and was supposed to have a grace period, now in the next few months, it's going to be way more homeless people because now
Yeah.
people starting to get put out. Where they
Yeah.
supposed to go?
Yeah.
Not just men, but men, women, and children. Where they
Yeah.
supposed to go?
That's real.
Yeah. So I try to get out there as much as I can around my work schedule. And when, I have the time, I just go on Facebook, see who's doing something. And if I can pitch in my time or bring something, a donation or whatever, that's what I try to do.
Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, but not that much because I'm like, not,
Inbox me on Instagram.
I have to follow you and then I can send you an inbox. So if
Okay,
you
yeah,
want to
do
team
that
up and
because
do something,
I want to talk to you about something. Inbox me on Instagram.
okay, okay, all
Because
right.
if you're
So how
doing
about
if you're volunteering, I would love to find out, you know, where you're volunteering at so I can go with you.
okay, okay. I have a community service page on Facebook. I mostly
Okay.
do my networking on Facebook.
Hmm.
Instagram, I'm kind of new to, so I don't do a lot of advertising there, but I do have a page over there on
What's your the page on Facebook?
Michelle J. Grady on Facebook.
Hold on. It's a group?
No, that's my community service page is called Michelle Grady Jenkins Community Service Page. Let me go to it real quick. But my original page, Facebook shut that page down. So I had to
Mhm.
do another
Yeah, just send me the link
I'll
on
send you the
Instagram or
link
something.
for it. I'll send you the links for it, yeah. And
Because I would love to join that.
okay,
And matter of fact, I might be able to get my podcast people to come out and help too.
right. Okay.
I'll be tricking them into doing this stuff. So
So what is your call letters or how do you get onto your podcast?
my podcast is called Affairs of the Heart Podcast.
Huh?
It's Affairs of the Heart Podcast. Actually, here, hold on, I'll show you.
Fears of the Heart?
Yeah, Affairs of the Heart Podcast.
Oh, okay.
We talk about dating, sex, and relationships from the gay male's perspective.
Okay.
There you go, the information right there.
Oh, Thursdays. Okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely will send you that information. Thank you for having me. I'm not going to hold up your live any
No problem.
longer.
I'm getting ready to go too. So, guys, I love you
Okay.
guys. If you guys love this live, make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn notifications. When you hit notifications, turn on all so you get all notifications. Comment below if you're joining later on, so that you know we can talk about these conversations. Maybe we can find something else to talk about out of this. I love you guys, and I will talk. We've been on for 4 hours, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
No problem.